Hey guys, it's Logan here, and we've got another video of two trucks. Who made it better? Did IXO make it better, or did top shelf replicas make it better? Of course, they're in two different scales. We've got one in 43rd over here, the much bigger one, and then one in 64th over here, my favorite scale. Now, the way IXO has been going, and if you watch my other videos, IXO has been taking their 43rds and scaling them down to 64th. So maybe, just maybe, we'll get IXO to bring this one down to 64th. Guys, since you're watching this video, I know that you're fans of classic trucks and the iconic companies that built America's highways. Now, you can get a high-quality, soft jersey t-shirt every month featuring vintage logos from legendary trucking companies. Ones that helped shape the industry but are no longer around. That's exactly what you get with the Trucking Fallen Flags T-Shirt of the Month Club. Each month, you receive a comfortable, beautifully designed shirt that lets you celebrate the rich history of trucking while feeling great in premium jersey material. It's the perfect way to keep these forgotten companies alive. Join now with the link down below. Now, what truck is this? Well, it's the Mack F Series. Probably F700s, most common of that series, but it's just the Mack F Series. The IXO one is based specifically on a 1977 model, and from the looks of the other one, we could probably assume the top shelf replicas over here is based on a 1977 as well. After all, the series cab didn't change much. The structure, the design, not really hardly any change, just some minor cosmetic things over the years of the production run, which was actually fairly substantial. But overall, both of them look great. Let's see. We've got dual air horns on the cab side over here. We'll tip them both up a little bit on the IXO, while the top shelf has dual air horns, but one on each side of the cab, which is kind of more traditional than this, but both were popular. The IXO has not bullet style, but it has the little roof lights that have a lens sticking up on a peg. These are really actually kind of a cool light. They're not your traditional bullet style, but they were common back in the 70s. They're individual pieces, and they are put in with chrome plated, and then they tampoed some clear Tamiya orange on top to make the amber lenses, and they really, really stand out. While the top shelf replicas over here, it just has molded into the roof. They're painted in silver with some orange paint for the lenses. Now you can also note there is the little sunroof roof vent there, the hand push-up vent on the IXO that is not on the top shelf replicas, but that center structure bar is there. They're both single bunk sleepers, as you can see. Single bunks. They got the little vent on each one for the sleeper. They got the similar door handle. This one here being bigger is a little more accurate, but it's also, again, bigger, so it's a little easier. They've got the Mack Bulldog right there on each door. Door handle is not tampoed, but the key lock is there. They're just molded in. They're molded in over here on the IXO, but they are actually tampoed over in silver. The step is here as it is there, but they actually molded it in, and IXO molded a marker light down there, which they didn't even tampo one here on the top shelf replicas. Both do have turn signals on each side, there, and there. They're also individual pieces on both trucks. Individual, and then they painted it orange, and then they painted it orange. But they're a little different design. These just kind of stick straight out, or these stick up. Pretty cool. It has Mack tampoed there, Mack tampoed there. But this one has this bar here, which is kind of your handle, so you can climb up and wash your window, which this one just kind of has a little tampo piece there. But they put the Bulldog on that bar. You can see it right there. It's hard to see. We'll tip her around a little more, but there you go. You can see the Bulldog. Pretty cool. There is no bulldog hood ornament on this one. Mack was the only Cabover truck that I've ever seen that factory had those hood ornaments. Mack put their bulldog on everything. We've got molded in windshield wipers that are tampoed in black along with the gaskets around the windows. But over here, just the gaskets are tampoed. The windshield wipers, though, are photo etch pieces. Now, my love and hate for photo etch pieces, but these appear to be actually well mounted, unlike the Neos. But again, 43rd scale makes it easier. We have a black dashboard and a black steering wheel, but tan seats in this truck. Well, not tan. They're like a saddle brown, a dark brown. Whereas in this one, we have a tan dashboard, tan seats, and a black steering wheel. Pretty nice detail inside. Grills, both of them are actually pretty well molded, but this one shows the spacing and the sizing a little bit better than this one does, but again, bigger makes that easier. They have individual jewel style headlights in these chrome little bezels, but they didn't put the extra little marker light in beside on the top shelf over here that they did on the IXO. They also put individual jewel style driving lights, which are huge in the bumper down here. They're actually bigger than the headlights. Weird. And they didn't put them there, but they did make a nice tapered ends bumper on both. However, this one actually, I think, looks a little bit better than this one. It could be. This could also be a European spec front bumper, because that looks like a number bar for a European license plate instead of an American license plate. They've got 3 little vents there, whereas this one has the pop-out vents that are under the dash to blow air onto your legs. Mack loved those right there. Really nice. Also, mirrors, chrome plated, much better. Looks like they have the 2-piece, the mirror in there, and then the brackets, and then there's a little gap, but that would be impossible in 64. Well, it wouldn't be impossible. It could be done, but this is just more practical. Also, you can see we have chrome stack on the passenger side on each, and the chrome air intake on the driver's side. This one looks more like a square intake tip, whereas this one is more of a rectangle intake tip. This is probably more accurate than this one, but both could have been very accurate at the time. All right, over to the passenger side. Very similar details to the driver's side. We got steps here that are painted in black. They painted the steps here in white. Now you'll see one flaw with these. The top shelf replicas, the cab didn't exactly sit down right. It wants to pop up, so it looks like it's kind of leaning a little bit forward because it is a tilt cab. Whereas the IXO does not tilt. You can see that it doesn't tilt. But at the same time, it doesn't click in place, so the cab doesn't sit quite the way it's supposed to. Also, if you'll notice, the exhaust and the intake are leaned backwards just a little bit. See, they should be vertical. They're leaned back a little. That was a problem with this tooling, with the cab sitting down, and these were not quite right, the exhaust. And that's all in the tooling, and the mounting brackets needed a little more work before they put these together. Sad, huh? Got chrome fuel tanks. The IXO, they tampoed the fuel filler cap black and the bands in black, but they didn't on the top shelf. Not that big a deal. Both have 5-spoke Dayton wheels. These here are actually probably the best looking wheels I've seen on an IXO truck. Normally their wheels leave a little bit to be desired, but man, these spikes, or these spiders, are really, really nice. They're even hollowed out. There's the holes there, really sharp. Top shelf over here as well did a really nice 5-spoke, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-spoke wheel. By the way, it's a 6-spoke wheel in the front, which Mack ran 6-spoke wheels, but a 5-spoke on the rear. I'm not sure why they didn't put the 6-spoke on the rear like they did on the front. I don't know. That should have been that way. IXO, they did the same thing. A 6-spoke on the front and 5-spoke on the rear. Nah, that doesn't make sense, other than maybe Maybe the model kit that both of these were actually patterned after, the AMT model kit, maybe it had 6-spoke wheels on the front and 5 spokes on the rear. That wouldn't necessarily surprise me, because that wouldn't be uncommon for them to have done something like that and make them goofy. We put a license plate here on the back of the IXO truck, but we did not put one on the back of the top shelf replicas. The brake lights are round and they hang down, whereas they're individual jewel styles and they're mounted into the frame here. No mud flaps on the IXO, which is surprising because a 70s truck would have had mud flaps. The top shelf has Mack branded mud flaps, which is very accurate. Nice tread pattern on these tires. They look like a pretty good bias ply. These top shelf tires leave a little bit to be desired. Now you can see back here, the air filter, they have it painted in black. Well, they chrome plated all of this here, and then they painted it black, and they made the brackets all black. They also put a little backup light there. You can see the chrome piping for the exhaust and the intake going under the cab, but since the cab doesn't tilt, you can't see where it goes. It just kind of goes up to the frame. There is a semblance of an engine. Actually, there is an engine under the hood, even though you can't tilt the cab to see it. That's strange. But anyway, over here, they left it all just chrome plated, and then they just tampoed a little decal sheet with dots for the heat shield on the edge of the muffler. They put a shorter, big fat muffler, which the R models, not really the R models, the B Model Macks ran these mufflers a lot, and then a tall tailpipe. Whereas this guy has, they did the same thing. There's a decal piece here. Actually, no, it's not a decal. The heat shield is molded into the muffler, but it's a thinner, longer muffler, and then a tailpipe. Its muffler goes all the way the height of the cab, whereas this one's like half the height of the cab, but a lot bigger around. Both fifth wheels do tilt a little. This one's got the bars going up to raise up the trailer, which signifies that this was probably for a lowboy, a detached, because those love those. Whereas this one just has the fifth wheel that pivots. This one will hook up to DCP trailers, so, and first gear, straight pin trailers, even Ertls. That's great. You can get trailers, even though only trailer that Top Shelf ever made was a livestock trailer. And I did a video that showed those off a while back, so you can see it, where I compared them, the Top Shelf livestock trailer to the DCP's new 45-foot vintage, because theirs was a vintage trailer. Now let's look underneath. I see where I lost a turn signal. It goes right there. Easy to fix. Just pops right back in. Not a problem. Glue. This truck came out several years ago, so some of the parts probably have, the glue is dried on it. Underneath, we got a little tampo of paint of gold underneath here for the bottom of the engine and transmission. Frame was all red. Black drive shaft. Black differentials that Mack was famous for. The drive shaft goes in at the top and then it's geared down into the transmission, which gave an extra gearing. Mack used it to very great use. It got a 5-speed transmission, actually gave the driver what most people needed a 10-speed for. It's got suspension, but it's none of working. However, it does have steering. This one is somewhat positionable. It steers a little bit, not a whole lot. That's okay. This one, no steering, but detail underneath. Wow, look. Smaller fuel tank on the driver's side. Battery boxes, which are missing on this one. It has air tanks there and there. Whereas this one has air tanks underneath. Bottom of the engine and transmission detail. Drive shafts. Differentials. Nice suspension here. It doesn't work, but it's nice. Nice looking front suspension, and nice tie rod and tires. However, it does not steer, but they did put this mud flap that goes behind the wheel. It's kind of a molded plastic piece that goes behind the wheel and in front of these steps to keep mud and water from spraying back this way. Really sharp. Now we'll put them here together. And which one did you think? Now granted, they are different sizes. But who made a better version of the F Model Mack, the F Series? Classic truck of the 70s. That Mack was very popular. It ran until they came out with the Cruiseliner, was its replacement, which I would so love somebody to make a model of it. Some unknown toy maker in Hong Kong did actually make a Cruiseliner, and sometimes you can find them. They do appear once in a while, but they're not very common. But what do you think of these? I mean, I like both of them. I do think IXO did a little better job because there is just a little more polished. Some of the stuff they did is just a little more polished. Granted, it's bigger, so it's easier to do some of that, but some of these little things like the tampo, this could have just been an easy tampo there. And setting the cab down flat and getting the exhaust straight really would have been a huge help. But we got what we got. We'll keep these guys, they were a one run only. They did a couple of colors, but there was only one time run of, and that was it. They haven't been done since. Be nice if they redo them. Not sure if they will, but we'll just have to wait and see. Drop your comments down below as to which one of these two trucks you think was the best. Now, mind you, I still have these IXOs available. And there's also another color of this IXO either out or coming very soon. So as long as supplies last, and guys, I only get one or two of these at a time. When they sell out, they're gone. So grab one with the link in the description down below so you can make sure you have one of these beautiful Cabovers in your collection. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and smash that like button. I'll see you in the next video.